Hi, everyone. This is Leah from Lightworkers Lifeline, and I'm here with Kira Farr. And we are going to look into the cards for the next week, the tarot cards, and also point out any big astrology things that are going on. So, and Kira, we wanted to do an experiment with making sure that the cards weren't being affected. Oh, sorry. By my shuffling. You know what? I'm having an allergy, so you can tell that story.
Okay. So we decided to shuffle the cards beforehand so that they weren't necessarily just picking up on our energy. I think that's what you were
Yep,
referring to.
yep, exactly.
So I was prepared. However, I think a few times have still been very relevant to us. But we are part of the collective, so I suppose it goes into can go various ways. But yeah, so that's what we've got going on. I've got a pile of cards here. I've actually added some animal medicine cards. So I've got three here that represent different animal medicines, which I will show you guys after we do the main tarot. So in the last newsletter, I added a little bit about the animal medicine that we could learn from regarding like shedding the old, being reborn, referring to, how animals shed, and there's that period of vulnerability between the shedding and the growing of the new skin. So I thought, since I dabbled in that a little with the last newsletter that you guys would have read, I thought I would throw some animal cards in the ring and see what comes up for the collective. So I suppose we'll start if you're ready to start, Leah.
Yes.
Yeah, awesome. Okie dokie. So straight away we have the Knight of Swords reversed, but I'll show you guys the card upright. Got a little cat on a horse. We have the Sun reversed as well. Tarot card. And we have Death. So what I'm picking up from these three together is that there's a lot of burnout energy happening. With the Knight of Swords in reverse, it can signify burnout, um, feeling exhausted, feeling overwhelmed. The Knight typically wants to charge forward and rush into new experiences and start new projects and keep things moving and flowing. But when it's stagnant and kind of flipped upside down, it's like the wheels have fallen off the cart a little bit. There's too much going on, or perhaps things aren't working or going as smoothly as they could be. So it's very heavy burnout energy, which is funny because we were talking a little bit about needing to recharge. So, and then the Sun reverse as well is it's a similar energy. It's also representative of feeling burnt out, feeling exhausted, feeling little bit less joy, needing to reconnect to peace and what fills us up. And with the Death card, it's always symbolic of rebirth. It's not as scary as people think it is. It doesn't symbolize actual death. It's more of just a need to shed what doesn't serve us, which we talked about in the last newsletter, and bring forward a rebirth, a um, new life for ourselves. So regarding the burnout and the exhausted energy, there could be some projects that need to be put to the side. There could be maybe there's just a need to sit down with ourselves and focus on what exactly it is we want to put our energy into, what fuels us, what brings us joy. And that's going to be very different for everybody. But whatever is, for some people, it could be that they've been in a career for a long time that no longer interests them and it's time for them to change it up. It could be anything, but it's about finding your passions so that you can once again be the knight that's charging forward and making moves and following your bliss with the sun card, which is always about finding your joy, finding your happiness. So whatever that means for you as an individual, that will be, um, take it as it resonates. It could be different for everyone, in the collective. But that's the first portion. Is there anything you wanted to add to that, Leah?
Yes, I would like to say that, did we speak about vulture last week? I don't remember.
Um, I I'm not sure. I don't remember either.
Okay, so just for those, since it's talking about, the death and the rebirth and the letting go of what no longer serves you. If ever you see, and we're talking about medicine, animal medicine, so if you see a vulture, you can always, first of all, reflect on your life and what's going on. If there are issues kind of coming up or present that need to be addressed by letting go of something that no longer serves you, and you can ask, if you see a vulture, it means that the medicine of, divesting of things that no longer serve you is available to you, and you can just ask for it. You can, anyway, it's really lovely thing to do. So whenever I see a vulture, I always say aho mataquiasin, which is Lakota for, um, kind of like greeting a family member. And then you say, or I say, take what no longer serves me. So it's just like, it's a very joyous process, actually, to do it. But, and there was one other, what'd you say?
Oh, it just sounds like a very beautiful thing to do and invite in. And
Yeah, it
yeah,
really is. And it's a, it's a powerful thing. I mean, vultures are able to eat pure disease, like the bubonic plague. And their digestive enzymes are so powerful that they digest the cell wall of any bacteria. There is no bacteria they can't digest the cell wall of. And that's one of the reasons they don't have feathers on their head, is so that it's easier for them to clean the bacteria off. But yeah, they're pretty, in Egypt, their name translates to golden purifier. So anyway, that's
didn't
enough
know that.
for vulture. Yeah, so they're always great to have around.
That's
If you're
fascinating.
seeing them,
Yeah.
it means you can get help.
Yeah. I like that, reference to, being able to digest anything and process anything, um, and transmute that disease or poison or whatever it may be, and just use it to sustain their life. That's really cool. Um,
Yeah, and their waste is also 100% purifying, because that's what stops them from spreading the disease. Is Yeah, there's a little aspect of them that's not so lovely, that they poop down their legs, but that cleans the bacteria of the disease off completely. So
there's a lot
stepping,
of things vultures, hey?
yeah, I know. I almost didn't want to share that. I'm normally not shy about sharing that, but
Yeah, no, that's, yeah. I mean, it's definitely relevant. I mean, I wouldn't suggest any of us poop down our legs, but um, if it works for the vultures,
yeah, but it's also something to consider, if there's ever a scenario where you need something disinfected, go look for vulture poop. If you're, in a survival mode.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's something to be said about the process and the spiritual symbolism of taking something that is considered harmful and toxic or poison or deadly, and being able to ingest that and take that in and turn that into something that is healing. And
Amazing.
for people, we can take the negative energy that we're experiencing, or the lessons they're experiencing, or the environment that we're experiencing. We can take that in and transmute that within ourselves into something that's light, and then spread that around to the rest of the world. And we can do that on an energetic level. It's a really powerful sort of metaphor for energy and the transmutation or the transformation of energy. And regarding whatever it is in your day-to-day life that might need transforming, it could be that there's something that you need to transmute, something that you need to shift within your energy or take in, and try to uncover what the medicine is there, what the lesson is in that. What is that trying to teach you about your experience? And the death card is a very fascinating card, and the whole concept of life, death, and rebirth is really fascinating and really amazing. And I mean, we souls, we are born and then we leave the vessel behind, and the vessel goes into the earth, and then we are reborn again. You know, we are constantly evolving and shifting and changing and going through a metamorphosis. And that happens on a larger scale, but also on a smaller scale within ourselves. When we do shadow work, we are processing that. So that's, I think the vulture's a very good representation, a very real representation of a way that that works in the world, and how that can be used as a reference for medicine.
Yes, a metaphor. Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny how reviled they are. You know, people think of them as dirty birds because they eat carrion, but they're
Yeah.
actually purifiers. And it's like how our thinking about nature has become twisted, you know, that you say something is soiled, ew, it's soiled.
Yeah.
And
Or
soil,
kids can't touch dirt or anything, but
right,
it's,
or
yeah,
something dirty, you know, it's like a bad word. It's dirty. It's just, whereas dirt is sacred. Everything
even with,
comes.
you know, people seem to think like, oh, animals, that, they're lesser than us, they're dirtier than us, they're not as good as us. And it's like, we are animal vessels. Like, we're the soul that's in your cat is the same situation as the soul that's in you. Like, we're all just beings in vessels, and we all have these, like, cells and microbiomes and all kinds of things, and like, we're all, you know covered in stuff. And we're all just, living on this planet, and the earth itself is not a gross place to be. It's the best place to be. And yeah, there's a lesson in that as well, like, allow yourself to get in touch with the primal, real desire to connect to the earth, and allow that to shift your perspective on things.
Oh, yeah. And I'm also beginning to really feel, to experience. So this is experiential, and you have to play with it experientially. You have to look for the sensation as you experiment. But I am really finding that I can choose to be in a happy state, even when things vibrationally around me do not match that state.
Yep.
And that's really cool. So
Yeah.
I think, one of getting back to the other main message about, really slowing down, downtime. And we had been talking about this, as Kara said, that I think right now we are all being called to spend time that is not structured. And non-structured time threatens the current paradigm. So it's never really comfortable or easy unless you're someone that has plugged into it enough that you know how great it is and you just don't let any other opinions or whatever slow you down. But unless you are that person, you're going to get hung up in pursuing this and trying to carve out time that is non-structured to just be. Connect with the earth, connect with nature, connect with a plant, a tree, an animal, just be unstructured if you can, sitting outside or staring at a crystal or petting your cat, or even watching a beautiful video of nature, and just let yourself dissolve. Because I think, when we work with metal, you can hammer metal into amazing shapes, right? You can take a sheet of metal and you can hammer it into a vase. But there are points in that evolution where the hammering has made the metal brittle. And the metal will crack if you keep hammering it and trying to force more shape change out of it. The metal has to be annealed. And annealing means heating it up to the point where it almost liquefies. So it's heated up to the point where it loses all that inner tension, but the outer shape still holds. And then you take the heat off before it totally relaxes to the point where now it's an amorphous blob, right? So we kind of need to bring ourselves into that semi-amorphous blob state to really release the tension, So this is metaphor I like to use a lot, but the amorphous blob one is new.
Yeah. Yeah, I love working with metaphors. I'm a very I'm a big fan of metaphors. I use them a lot, and I'm glad that you also use them a lot because it helps me understand what you're talking about, and it just yeah. And we've had good ones today. Like there's two very good metaphors for the reading. So yeah, that's definitely something that we need to ease into because we are demanded by a very structured ancient society that says we have to be forming into this, doing that, and it's so against our nature and so constructed for a specific type of person that most of us are not. Even the people who are thriving in that world are forcing themselves to constantly be a pillar for something. And even those people who are really going for that lifestyle need that blob time as well, because without that blob time, you can't really hold yourself up. You just got to relax a little bit sometimes. And it's so important to do that and connect back to nature and not let ourselves stray too far from what we know is healing for us, which are plants, animals, the elements, those types of things that surround us. Being stuck in our little buildings all day in our offices, walking around making money is, you know, it's not all that there is to existence. It's a very much structured thing. And it doesn't mean that it's bad, it just means that balance is necessary for us to be healthy and thrive.
Yes.
got a few more cards and then we'll get to the animal medicine. So I have the Queen of Wands. And
Okay.
this is a very passionate, creative, entrepreneurial, intelligent, confident leadership type of energy. So this is what we want to be stepping into, is an energy of where we are leading ourselves towards a life that we are passionate about, where we fuel our creativity. We feel that we are on the right path, we are happy, we are comfortable, we're in a good spot. We've also got the Ten of Cups, which is always a good card to have. This is that emotional fulfillment. It's having a community, it's having support, it's filling up your own cup and having the overflow of that fill up the rest of the cups. It's complete emotional contentment. And that is what we want to strive for in this life is safety and joy and authenticity. And we do need to make sure that we are being authentic and following self truth, which is something that's in the animal medicine cards. We've got the Magician as well. Balancing all of the energies, working with all the tools at your disposal to create the life that you know is going to best serve you. And then we've got the Page of Wands, and lastly the Two of Cups. It's a little bit dark, sorry. Yeah, so I think this just really confirms that we can manifest. And the Magician card represents this metamorphosis as well. There's I think it's the chrysalis or something, like the
Yes,
cocoon
the chrysalis.
that the butterfly is coming out of. To create that for ourselves, we have to once again transform what is harmful or toxic, whether that's self-belief, self-defeating behavior, negative environments, energy from other people, experiences, trauma, pain, anything, into healing teachings that we can then use to further our growth and fulfill our mission and do what we are here to do and evolve as a soul. Because we're all souls trying to evolve, and that is, of course, a form of metamorphosis and transformation and growth. It's what we are here to do and support within ourselves, but we have to be authentic with ourselves.
Yeah.
All right, I've got animal cards, but if you want to add some things in
No,
before we get into,
that was beautiful. Loved it. Very succinct, and it was a great conclusion to what we had talked about.
yeah, it definitely seemed to kind of go in the same direction. So I've got 3 animal cards here. The first we have is dog. And these in this deck, this card represents loyalty and companionship. So with the dog, what we want to do and what we want to look at is how we can evaluate what we are loyal to, the belief systems that we're loyal to, what we are subscribing to energetically. I think we talked about this last time, did we? Or in the newsletter I wrote. We wrote something about it. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but I think there was something to do with what we are loyal to, what traditions we were following. Because I think last time we got the Hierophant and the Grimwalkin about what traditions that we're following and things like that. But the dog is here to ask us what we are standing by and ensuring that we honor our authenticity, honor our truth, and our soul's personal journey and growth. And then we have the lizard. The lizard represents our dreams and our dream world. and what we have what we're experiencing in that world. Our dreams hold a lot of messages for us, and we can decipher that. For some of you, maybe you already do work with dreams and things like that, but dream interpretation and paying attention to the messages that spirit shares with you in the unconscious realm can be really important, and they can shed a light on what you're experiencing in your day to day. Some dreams are super random and super irrelevant and don't make any sense, but then there are dreams where you wake up feeling like that one was relevant. And if you wake up from a dream feeling like there's a message there, dabble with that, journal, see what comes out, Google some things. Maybe if you have a dream about an animal, you could find out what the symbolism is or the medicine of that animal. If you have a dream about specific situations, there are dream journals, dream meaning books that you can get. There are meanings you can look up online. But also, the lizard card mentions how you can dream things into reality. So in the book, it's written as the lizard is dreaming about I think there's a snake, and the snake comes up to the lizard and says, "Hey, I could eat you, right? Like, why are you not afraid of me? Why are you not moving?" And the lizard says that it dreamt up a reality in which it wasn't going to be eaten. And it's something like that. It's definitely written better than I'm saying it, but I'm trying to cast my mind back to when I've read
No, it's very cool what you're saying. I love that it dreamt up a reality where it wasn't going to be eaten. And it
Yeah,
trusted that it had transitioned into that reality. And that's really, the faith we are asked, which is why I always try and tell everybody to experiment.
yeah,
Experiment until you have confidence that this stuff is real,
yeah,
because as I experiment with it, there's no question, that it's real. But I still go through my questions because I was born in this time frame where we were taught to really discount any of this stuff or be afraid of it. And so, I can still vacillate between that polarity within my developing sense of really trusting this, and that's my task. And I think it's a lot of our tasks. And I think as we do that and we make this more solid, our trust in this, we are dreaming it into reality.
yeah,
And why
yeah.
don't
That's
we want
way
these changes? Why don't we want these changes? We do. We're most of us not really happy with where things are at. We want us a better world.
exactly. It's the art of manifestation. When we are trying to manifest, we often need to release and surrender and trust that the universe will provide that, while simultaneously supporting that coming to fruition, and really just believing that what we dream up within ourselves can become reality. Not necessarily the dreams that you physically have, but the dreams of your soul, the dreams of your heart, they can be created through channeling that manifestation and believing in that, and then taking the steps forward, but also releasing the leash on it, releasing the grip on it a little bit, so that the universe can actually do its thing and infiltrate your world, and in a good way, and put things in place and bring things in. And some of us want things that we're also simultaneously afraid of, right? So we may want to expand our life in some way, but we're afraid of what could happen if things change. And so, because we have that contradiction within ourselves, the universe is like, well, you're resisting to that. We can't bring it in if you're going to reject it, because it's something that you're meant to experience when you're ready to accept it. So that's why there's divine timing added to it as well. But the lizard card is very symbolic of dreams. So both things, analyze the dreams that you're having when you're asleep, but also have a look at what dreams you have in your heart, what you want to create and conjure up in your life. And then we have the last card, which is Dragonfly.
Awesome. Dream time.
Sorry.
Dream time.
Yeah.
Like
This
like
is also,
the Aboriginal Australian rainbow serpent. Dragonfly is
yeah.
quite similar.
In this particular deck, it's about the illusions that we have and change. Dragonflies are similar to butterflies in terms of that they represent shifts and change, but dragonfly can symbolize illusions. So breaking the illusions that we have put on ourselves, the illusion of I'm not good enough, this isn't going to work, this is unrealistic, while simultaneously breaking the illusion of, you know, things that need to, if there are cases where you need to be disillusioned, is that the right word? Disillusionment needs to occur, for growth. But a lot of the times, our illusions are just about how negative we are about our own lives and how pessimistic we can be about ourselves and our dreams. And it can be easier at times to stay stuck in our delusions that we can't change, nothing can change, because deep down we're afraid of what will happen if we shed and allow that vulnerability to take place, where we step into a world that kind of makes us feel like a raw nerve. We're just like, oh, I don't know how to navigate this terrain because I've been stuck in the desert for 30 years and I don't know what it's like to see trees and color and plants, and it can be scary because new things come out of the woodwork when things change. Let's take an example. You move to a new country. It's a completely different environment. It may be something that you want to do, but it's a completely different environment and change will occur. Or if you want to start a family, that's going to change a lot of things. You know, it's going to make a lot of shifts in a person's life. So there are things that we want, and then things that we also fear at the same time. They can be the same thing. So
Yeah, and also a type of fear where you don't really feel you deserve it. That's
yeah,
another type of fear that can come up.
exactly. And that's one of those um, illusions that needs to be shattered, is that the whole idea that you don't deserve what you desire. I think that we are born with the desires that we have to create a life for ourselves because we are meant in some way to interact with that or have that or experience that. When it comes to certain things, for example, you know, excluding negative things, but the desire for someone to go to a certain place. There could be a specific city or a specific town or specific country that someone feels really pulled towards. That could be because it's relevant to their path and to their life, or a specific career. It could be relevant to their soul's growth and soul's evolution. And there are things that can come from that. Maybe you move to a different place and that opens a door to a new job, which opens a door to new friendships, which opens a door to a partner, which opens a door to this, to that. Like, it can be so relevant to our destiny and our fate. And when we have these delusions that we aren't good enough, that we don't deserve it, spirit doesn't want to open those doors, because you won't walk through them. And those opportunities can't be missed if they are meant for you. And that goes back to the saying, you won't miss it if it's for you. Like it won't pass you by if it's meant for you. And that comes back to trust and aligning yourself with faith in yourself, with the dog, being loyal to yourself, trusting your authenticity, following your soul, believing in your dreams. It all just ties back. And that will create a natural metamorphosis, which will fold out into joy and love and lightness and ease. And that pretty much sums up the full circle moment here.
I love it.
Yeah.
And I am walking those paths, everything you described. I'm actually living that. So it's really cool. I was beautifully expressed and great reading. Love that you brought in the animal deck and love where it brought everything. Wow, that was fab.
Thank you.
Okay, everybody, we hope you enjoy it too. Let us know in the comments and hope you have a really great week. And remember, just keep loving yourself.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.